What culture?
Gosh, it's fun to talk about Disneyland, and the fact that the closer you look at it, the more it was built on a graveyard of dreams and a city of bones. We've done a video about some of the more disturbing aspects of the Disneyland theme parks, but those were unfortunately constrained by having to be relatively factual. If you open the door to stuff that's been reported on the internet but is almost 90% likely to be bollocks, it makes for much more enjoyable viewing. Take all of these with a Herculean pinch of salt, and remember, Disneyland is the home of stories. Even if these have no truth to them, they are at least pretty weird tales. I'm Adam from WhatCulture.com, and here are 10 deeply disturbing Disneyland urban legends. Number 10, the suicides. It seems almost like performance art to kill yourself at the happiest place on earth, but Disney's no stranger to attempts. At Euro Disney, one of the gardeners who worked for the park once doused himself in gasoline and tried to set himself on fire on the property. In 2010, 2 employees killed themselves, one leaving a note behind saying, "I don't want to return to Mickey." The internet runs red with rumors of bodies being stashed away out of sight, and one particularly gruesome rumor that turned out to be a creepypasta story, showing a doctored photo of a child hanging from the ceiling of the Small World ride. Number 9, the real Toy Story. Speaking of the Small World attraction, first of all, did you know that It's a Small World After All is David Lynch's least favourite song? The more you know. Anyway, the ride itself, home to all those awful dolls, the uncanny little terrors, it breeds rumour and supernatural gossip. There have been many reports, from dubious sources obviously, of the dolls springing to life and singing even when turned off, or moving after everything's been shut down, Five Nights at Freddy's style. God damn it! People claim that the dolls are possessed, or the urban legend that an engineer got fired and, disgruntled and homeless, spent months living in the bowels of the ride and animating the dolls to frighten people away from discovering him. Either way, I hate those dolls. They can off. Number 8, the actually haunted mansion. There are a lot of ghost stories about Disney theme parks, and the haunted mansion attractions account for well over half of them. Look, it's a ghost, says the internet. No, says Disney, it's part of the ride. Oh, fair enough, says the internet, then gets distracted. Look, it's a ghost! Sound designers have complained of unexplained music in the seance room, but props keep moving in the night. Customers have taken night vision cameras into the ride and claimed to have snapped pictures of creepy ghost children or employees who have died in the months previous. Despite being forbidden from doing so, a woman dumped her dead son's ashes in the ground, and after that, staff started claiming to see a ghost boy weeping near the exit to the mansion. Oh, and it haunts Eddie Murphy to this day. Number 7, the guests who never left. It's not just a spook house that's seen supernatural sightings. People have taken to the internet in droves with all sorts of grainy footage of ghosts seen wandering around the park after it shuts. Here's some footage of a ghost apparently caught on CCTV, conveniently keeping to the footpath. Makes sense, only poorly brought up phantoms walk on the grass. Ghost cowboys have been spotted around the place, ghost kiddies, and possibly the most famous ghoul of them all, a ghostie called Mr. One Way. He's a large man with ginger hair, told you they were evil, and he haunts Space Mountain. He's called Mr. One Way because he went on the ride in the 1970s, died, and therefore his spirit never actually got off. Number 6, just the worst parents. Of all the disturbing things on this list, this, depressingly, is the one most likely to be true. You can't take small children on roller coasters for a bunch of reasons, namely avoiding lawsuits from parents annoyed that their small children died on a roller coaster. However, this hasn't stopped some people who probably shouldn't be breeding from trying to sneak their babes on board. One woman attempted to smuggle a child on the Indiana Jones ride in a big coat pretending to be pregnant. She was discovered when the bar came down and her belly started screaming. Even worse, the incident of a couple who were queuing to get on Space Mountain and carrying a large black duffel bag. When the bag started making odd noises and security were called, turns out they've been trying to smuggle a 6-month-old baby onto the ride. People are just fan-tastic, aren't they? Number 5, the creepy ride photo. So we've established that ghosts have been showing up on CCTV cameras, right? Well, I say that, ghosts aren't real, but people have been sharing it around regardless. Well, where else are you guaranteed to find cameras in theme parks? Yep, on the rides themselves, you can pay hand over fist for a photo of you looking like you're being tased in the dick. One customer shared this story. He got on the dinosaur ride in the Animal Kingdom and sat next to a man with a baseball cap who didn't move for the entire ride, just kept staring dead ahead. When the guy checked the photo after the ride, he claimed that the man sat next to him had no eyes. Dumb, dumb, dumb. It's dumb. This is a photo. This is the man. Sure, he's creepily still, but isn't that just the brim of his baseball cap? No, it's proof of ghosts, apparently. Number 4, the groping. Creepy time, it's creepy time. So this is one of the stories that gets thrown around all the time. Sometimes there's truth there, sometimes not. But for decades, people have been claiming they've been groped by Disney mascots while posing with them for photos. Sometimes these accusations have been lies, with a woman in the 70s claiming to have been fondled by one of the 3 little pigs, probably the one who lived in a house of sticks. Dude's an asshole. But that was proven wrong because the costume's stubby little arms are literally incapable of groping people. However, and here's where it gets horrible, some reports have led to convictions. In 2004, a Disney cast member who worked inside a Tigger costume at the time was charged with molestation after fondling a teenager during a photo shoot. His arrest led to 24 more complaints being levied against him within 1 week. Now, to be fair, of all the Disneyland characters to turn out to be sex pests, Tigger was always going to be in the top 5, alongside Frollo, Flounder, the Magic Carpet, and Prince Charming. Perverts to a man. Number 3, Honey, I Bit Off Your Penis. Sticking with the sexual stuff, this is a story to make grown men weep. Honey, I Shrunk the Audience is basically a short film. Nothing too scary, right? Well, in 2007, one couple thought that the Dark Auditorium would make a nice place to get busy, and a young woman started going down on her boyfriend. If you don't know what going down means, ask your local policeman. Unfortunately, they didn't know that the attraction was interactive. At one point, tubes come out from the seat to simulate mice running behind the audience's feet. Well, that happened, and the woman bit down in surprise. Yes, men of the world, let's just take a brief moment's silence to acknowledge the full horror of that situation. Yeah, it was pretty funny though. The member wasn't bitten all the way off, but the man was rushed away with, quote, heavy bleeding from the genitals. Number 2, Debbie Stone. People die at Disneyland, that's just something that happens, but this is one of the most gruesome accidents in the history of the park. In July 1974, Deborah Gale Stone was stood on a revolving set in the America Sings attraction and was accidentally crushed to death between 2 pieces of scenery. To this day, Debbie Stone remains a Disneyland eerie tale, with employees working on the ride repeatedly claiming to hear a disembodied voice telling them to be careful. And number 1, Walt's ghost. Because the void cannot hold the relentless spirit of the Fuhrer of Fun, not only is it claimed that he once had his own head frozen because there's no rich like Crazy Rich, the ghost of Walt has also been seen ambling around the park, no doubt trying to stop his workers complaining about the long hours. If I'm still at work, you're still at work. He's been seen in his old apartment above the firehouse on Main Street, in the Disney Gallery, and, rather unglamorously, in the stock rooms above the New Orleans Square shops. One more creepy story. When in residence at the park, Walt Disney would light a certain lamp in his apartment so the employees knew he was in and to watch their fucking mouths. When a cleaning lady saw the lamp go on one day by itself, that lamp has been left on permanently as a mark of respect for the man who created the happiest and creepiest place on earth. He is always in residence.
I love lamp.
And that's our list. Did we miss any out? Tell us about it in the comments. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter here. I'm Adam from whatculture.com, and I'll see you soon.